Hello, welcome to another Advisicon webinar Wednesday. Today's topic is the Project Manager's Guide to the Modern SharePoint. At Advisicon, our amazing team of trainers, developers, and technology consultants want to help you maximize your productivity and impact. And we do that through a blend of technology and methodology consulting. My name is Sean. I'll be your presenter today. I have a background in math education, and what that really means is I have a lot of problems. Good thing for all of us is that I enjoy problem solving, especially using technology as tools. I do have experience in managing projects where we use Microsoft 365 tools as our solutions. I do have a SharePoint certification. I've been teaching for nearly 10 years, and I am a Microsoft certified professional. An overview of today's agenda. We're going to ask and answer the question, what is SharePoint? We'll talk about project management needs. After all, this is the Project Manager's Guide to SharePoint. And then we'll do a demo of how you can possibly start today and put up a SharePoint site. And there's a term we need to understand, SharePoint site, and begin project management with SharePoint. Let's begin by asking the question, what is SharePoint? Most people would probably answer that SharePoint is document storage. And you wouldn't be wrong. That is one of the features of SharePoint. However, Microsoft OneDrive is also used for document storage, and often the two are used interchangeably. To clarify, OneDrive is used for personal document storage, where SharePoint is used for more collaborative, enterprise-wide document storage. Let's explore SharePoint just a little more. According to Microsoft, organizations use Microsoft SharePoint to create websites. You can use it as a secure place to store, organize, share, and access information from any device. And all you need is a web browser. Let's unpack a few of the terms here in the definition. One of them being websites. Maybe you never thought of SharePoint as a website, but that's what it's designed to do. It's designed to store, organize, share, and access information from a web-based browser. Yes, that means that SharePoint does not have a related app, such as Outlook, but SharePoint can be accessed from a browser. Looking at some of the features of SharePoint, it does have document storage, and it is a website. What's neat about SharePoint is that it makes it very user-friendly to build a website using web parts. And I'll unpack that, demonstrate that here in our webinar. Furthermore, I want you to understand the architecture of the modern SharePoint. Here you can think of your website, your SharePoint site through your Microsoft tenant. From your SharePoint, you can create multiple sites. That's usually your starting point. Sites can have different parts, and for the sake of project management, we're going to think of the parts under a site as pages. So key words to know there, sites and pages. Again, you have your SharePoint app. Under that, you have sites. You can have multiple sites, and within a site, you can have multiple pages. Let's apply that now to the project management scheme. From your SharePoint app, you can have multiple programs. Now, if this is the first time you heard of the word program, a program is a collection of your organization's projects. The way our CEO, Tim Runcie, likes to say it, projects are doing the projects right, but programs are doing the right projects. So as an organization, you probably do multiple projects, and projects that have similar initiatives, goals, or part of similar strategies in your organization roll up to a program. This structure of SharePoint is what I would suggest to begin today with SharePoint. There are many ways to architecture your SharePoint site, but this is a very common and very straightforward way to do so. Now let's talk about your project management needs. Now, project management has many facets, many domains, many areas that the project manager needs to oversee. SharePoint can help us raise visibility. That's going to be a big word for what SharePoint offers is visibility. Also, communication, the idea of transmitting information not only to, but also from, being able to go back and forth with ideas. So visibility and communication is something that SharePoint does really well when you structure it appropriately. Let's break down some of the project management needs that SharePoint will address. First of all, let's start up here, a project schedule. Whenever you have a project, you need to assign tasks. So you have the what and the who, and you also want to just be able to see the progress of the task. Are you measuring in percents, or are you measuring just started, in progress, and done? Well, that depends on the tool that you use to do your project schedule. At Advisicon, we enjoy helping organizations find the right project schedule tool. And if you need help with that, please give us a call for that. For the sake of this demonstration, I'm going to be using Planner as my project schedule tool. Secondly, a project manager needs to be able to surface and raise awareness to risks and issues. Why? Because they affect your project schedule, your project scope, your project cost. And plans are great until you start the project, and then things arise. Issues will come up. So as a project manager, you just want to be able to raise awareness to that, assign someone to make sure that the risk or issue is mitigated. And that's really just having a good plan when things come up to control your project. Next, I want to talk about communication. They say that 90% of what a project manager does is communicate. We usually think of communication as externally, and we will be able to create an external communication log here in SharePoint. SharePoint also offers an internal thread of communication related to specifically projects around a certain project. And a lot of that has to do with the architecture of your SharePoint site. And email is never discouraged, though it is always just good to question, what is the role of email in our communication? Is it our primary way of communicating? Is it just to external or external and internal? So just something for you and your project team to consider. Next, PMIS stands for Project Management Information Systems. All projects have information, whether it be the who's, the what's, the where's, and all of those are usually found in some type of document. Well, as discussed in the What is SharePoint section, SharePoint does help you store documents. It also you don't want just documents somewhere. You want them to be accessible to your project team wherever they might be. Maybe your project team is local. Maybe your project team is remote and actually working across multiple time zones. You want to be able to collaborate with your project team and have the documents accessible at all times and in real time. SharePoint definitely helps us with that. Next, all projects usually have meetings and calendar events that everyone needs to be aware of. That keeps our project orderly. That increases our project team's autonomy, ability to know what they need to do, when they need to do it. They just need to have visibility to it, and they just need that communicated to them. So a project site on SharePoint can deliver those for our project team members. And finally, program management. Remember that a program is a collection of projects that are working towards the same initiative, strategy, or goal. With SharePoint, we can create a program of visibility to our projects. That way we can see the health of the project from a glance. We can see, is this project on track, off track? What is the health of it? And perhaps if intervention, more assistance is needed. So a project manager has many of these, if not all of these, to address in their project. And Microsoft SharePoint helps us solve that need and also creates visibility all in one place and creates communication all in one place. Okay, and now the fun part. We actually get to dive into SharePoint with a demo. Let's get started. All right, I'm at the Office.com homepage for my Microsoft tenant. I'm going to open up the waffle and navigate to SharePoint. So I open SharePoint, and this is what I would see. Just some quick navigation points. You will see news. That just kind of means updates from across my SharePoint sites. Remember the architecture that I have multiple sites. Everyone's landing page will look different based on the frequent sites they visit. You can star websites that you want to follow. So this is the one I'm frequently using right now, and this is the program, if you will, and projects that I'm currently managing. Just quick navigation points. On the left, we will see the local navigation is what it's called. Here are blades, as another term for it. You can think of them also as links to different pages or different parts of your SharePoint site. Now, obviously, I've built this out a little bit for our demonstration, but where do you see the parts for your site? Come on here under the cog and site contents. Here in the site contents, you can see your document libraries, your lists, events that are created, even site pages. So that was found through the cog wheel under site contents. I'm going to go back home, my starting point. I want you to see that all of these items here are web parts. This is a web part, this is a web part, another web part, and so on and so forth down the page. How can we get a better view of what exactly these are? Because I'm the owner and manager of this SharePoint site, I can edit it. So I click edit, and you can navigate and see the parts now. You can see them more defined. Now, if you want to click on them, you can edit the web parts, and you can see what exactly is this web part. This one's called a list, for example. What's this one? Also a list. How about this web part? You can see it's outlined and defined. This one's called people. This one has a timer. This one, events. This one's called site activity. And this one's called a document library. Lots of choices that come up when you select your different web part. But it's good to know that if you use or are navigating a web page, that you can understand what they are, and then perhaps change the ones or duplicate the ones that you would like to see on your SharePoint website. Whenever you make edits to your SharePoint site, you do need to save. That way you update it. The republish button refers to letting everyone see the new changes you make. So you could save changes you make, but if you're not ready for viewers or visitors to see the changes, then you just want to keep saving. Once you publish, the changes are now visible. I'm going to publish because I want to make sure that my project programs are up to date and visible for all my project team. All right. I want you to see on the left with the local navigation that all these parts have links to them. And I've designed my site to do that. But you can set it up where you don't have these here. I just think it's a little more easier to navigate towards. Maybe when your project list gets really long, there are some ways to structure this differently. But for today, I want to create visibility to where all my projects are. And what are these projects? They are pages. How to create a new page? I just click new and page. Remember the SharePoint structure has SharePoint and then sites under it and pages under it. And that's what I'm calling all my projects, pages. Let's dive into a project. Navigating the parts, I have my planner board. This would be like my schedule. I have my document library. That would be my PMIS. I have my calendar here on the right, and we'll dive into that a little bit more. So this individual project has its parts identified, has its parts laid out. On the program level, I keep my project status lists visible on the home page. That way anyone, maybe especially Patty, our president, comes in and can see the health of each project. Patty can even dive into the project status list and see if there were more projects added, what would be their status. Patty could also look at the risks and issues tracker and follow that as well. Going back to our home page, I want to show you how I would stand up a new project today. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my most recent project. I've already have a template, schedule, calendar and events, document library, and even down here, I have a thread where I can communicate with my project team. To create a new project, I'm going to go new and copy. Let's add a name. This is my new project, my latest one. This is now project 51. Make sure to update the various parts as well. Planner board. I'm going to add a new project folder. And there it populates as well. And comment section will be displayed after the page is published. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and publish it. There's some changes I still need to make. Okay. Now, I made a copy of Project 50. This planner board is still Planner Board Project 50. There's the comments, and there's the calendar. Okay. Let me update this planner board. We go back into Edit. So I've just copied. Now I want to edit. Here, as I explained before, these are web parts. I'm going to edit this web part by hovering over this one specifically. And this is a planner web part. It comes from a planner board. Which plan do you want? Well, I just matched the project. I've already selected, built my planner board in Planner. You could even change the view on the planner board. You can say, I just want to see the charts. I just want to see it by buckets or priorities. But for this, for my project, I want to see the tasks and the resources assigned to them, and then assign dates afterwards. Okay, so my planner board is now updated. Notice that there's still much of the functionality, such as grouping by assignments or due dates or labels, whatever you decide to use there. And you can, yes, still use filters, so I can look at just one person's tasks. For example, I just want to see Megan's tasks. Maybe as Megan, I come in here and I just want to see my task assigned to me. Okay, that is updated. Great. The other thing I need to update is this event calendar, but I'm gonna need to do some changes first. All right, first thing I want to do is I'm going to add a new event. And what might be the first event of your project? Well, probably a project kickoff. You've already got all the things in line. Let's just start a project kickoff meeting. Okay. Now, for my project, I'm going to use a naming convention where I label which project is here and what is the topic of related to that project. All right, this is going to take place in 2 weeks and specific time of 2:30. All right. When I get a meeting link, I can put the meeting link here for others to view. Category is going to be an important one. I'm going to call this category Project 51. There are pre-built categories such as birthday, get-together, holiday, anniversary, meeting, but I'm going to group all these, I'm going to say all these events under Project 51 fall under the category of Project 51. Of course, you can add descriptions, maybe you put your agenda here, and you can name people who should be involved in this. So let's say Adele, Nestor, and Pradeep should be involved in this meeting. Okay, after I made all my changes, I save it. I'm going back home. Notice on the left, I don't have Project 51 there yet. So let's get Project 51 visible on this page. To do that, I'm going to go back to Site Contents. Remember, from the home page, click on the cog, go to Site Contents. And this is a new page. So I'm going to dive into the site pages, and there's Project 51. Notice here this little book icon. What that means is this site has changes that are not published. Do you want to update it? Yes. In order to get the page to display here, it does need to be updated and published. So I'm going to make sure that is so. All right. Now, if I want a page to be visible on the navigation, I just select it. And then here at the top, it says Add to Navigation. I clicked it. Now, you don't see the change happen just yet. Go back home. Allow it to refresh. And now it's changed. I wonder why that dash is there. Well, I can change it by clicking Edit. And then I can go to each of these blades and select here and edit it. Notice you can refer to the address and what is it? Is it a link? Is it a part? And I can even correct it to say, I just want it to look like that. So very nice and uniform, and save. Before I move on from there, notice that you can edit and drag your projects, drag your parts in an order that suits your business needs. Okay, let's go back to Project 51. I was changing the calendar events here. This one is Project 50, but I only want to see the events related to Project 51. So let me edit this web part here. I'm going to select it and then click Edit Web Part. What is the source of our events? Well, events on this site. If you look at other options, it can be this site, the site collection, all sites even, or just a few select sites. I'm going to just say, let's stick to events on this site. And which category? Well, not Project 50. This is Project 51. You can even change the date range. Do you want it to be 2 weeks? You want to see all events? I want my team to have visibility to all events, not just the next 2 weeks. I want them to see all of them. But maybe if there's too many, let's see, hundreds of events, for example, let's create visibility to just the next, 15. Okay. And once I made that change, it's now there. Great. I have now a kickoff meeting added to here. I am going to add another type of event that would create visibility to your projects, and that being milestones. Let's say my first milestone is this week. I'm going to create a milestone, and I'll use that icon to catch our eyes and to say phase 1 complete. Oh, don't forget my naming convention, and that is the project name. Okay, let me go back to Project 51 to make sure it is there. All right, looks like the calendar event was incorrectly categorized. So let me go back into it. Yeah, I didn't add the category of Project 51. So it will show up on my master calendar, but not my specific project calendar. Let me show you that. My master calendar here on the home page, I've set to show all projects, Project 45, 50, 49, even a after work gathering. And Project 51 does have it here. It does have a milestone. but does it have it on my Project 51 page? Yes, it does now. So that is a way to create visibility to your calendars, to your events. It improves communication. Going down the list, I also want to highlight the communication that can happen in the comments section. Here in the comments section, we can refer to our project team with messages. I could say, hey, Nestor, please remember to use. And now Nestor will see it here and be able to even reply within this thread. This is great communication for our whole project team. That way, even if I'm not Nestor, I could still see that communication happened at that point. Speaking of communication, let's look at the communications list. Coming back home and looking at the different web parts, let's go into the communication list. I'm going to add a new event or new item, as they're called. This is now customer C. And which project does it refer to? Yeah, Project 51. This is a choice that I had to create. Specifically, the customer name. Who did I speak with? Let's say this was with Derek at the company. And we can enter an email. And here's where we can talk about what did Derek and I talk about. And Derek agreed on the new terms for sale. Okay. And what date did this take place? And you can even add attachments on the agreement if that helps. So now anyone can come in and look at Project 51 and see what has taken place. The way you do that with lists is you can filter out specific projects. Let me see just Project 51 items. And that's the beauty of SharePoint. You can filter out certain items, certain columns. Let's say I only want to see the things that took place with customer A. Maybe customer A works across multiple projects, and I can do that way as well. So not only does a list keep your data stored for your project team to have visibility to, but also just keep track and make it easier for your team. All right, let's go back home. Similar to the communication list is the project status list and the project risks and issues tracker. Because I have a new project, I'm going to make sure that this project is added to the list. So this time I'm going to edit in grid view. What you saw previously was editing a SharePoint list with a new form, but I'm going to go this way, which may be more intuitive for people who have used Excel, because it's just a table. Okay, Project 51 just started, so I'm going to say we are on track. What is Project 51? TBD, we don't have the full understanding of it yet. Who owns this? Another idea you can use is to say all our projects, which segment of our company owns it. What's the progress? We just started. Notice I created other metadata tags. That way you can again filter for, I want to see only projects that are being blocked. I only want to see projects that are completed. Or I want to filter out projects are completed. Maybe I'm concerned about why certain projects haven't started, so I will filter for just projects not yet started. And priorities, how critical do we need to apply resources to it? You can even give it its start dates and when do you expect this to be done by? And maybe most importantly, who has oversight, who is accountable for the completion of this project? A lot of these columns come with a standard project list, but you can create custom columns as well. All right, once I exit grid view, now it is saved. Let's go back home. So to review, we have created a new project, and on this new project, we have added our planner board, which is our schedule, our PMIS. We can communicate here. We can have calendar meetings, events. We have program visibility, risk issues, visibility, and communication all here inside of SharePoint. Thank you for joining us for the Project Manager's Guide to the Modern SharePoint. If you found this helpful and would like to get started with building your own SharePoint, please give us a call or reach out to us via email or one of our social media websites. We are glad and excited to help you improve your productivity, impact, and purpose today. Thank you again for joining us for another Advisicon Webinar Wednesday. Take care, and we'll see you next time.